Okay, so you might think I'm exaggerating, but I honestly believe that you only need 4 weeks of fasting to completely rewire your identity and change your life forever. Now, I'm not saying that you are going to achieve your dream physique in 4 weeks. That would be irresponsible. That would be crazy. That's not what happened to me. But in 4 weeks of consistent fasting, not all the time, of course, intermittent fasting, 4 weeks of consistent intermittent fasting, you can change your identity in a way that allows you, you change the way you see yourself in a way that allows you to lose the weight. That's exactly what happened to me. Over the past year, I've lost around 30 pounds with fasting. So I know what I'm talking about, right? Haven't achieved my dream physique yet, but I'm far ahead in the journey. I'm kind of, I don't know, probably halfway through there. And that's how we're going. Now, in this video, I want to explain to you exactly how to do it, how it works, why most people get it wrong, and how you can do that and what you can expect when you do that, okay? First of all, let's start from the beginning. What exactly do I mean by 4 weeks of consistent intermittent fasting? I'm not talking, what most people do when they come to fasting is that they just skip lunch, skip breakfast, or like skip breakfast, skip dinner, or something like that. They do the basic 16-hour fasting window to an 8-hour eating window, which basically means skipping the first or your last meal. I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough to actually make a big change on you. Like you might lose weight, you might gain a little bit of, progress towards your goal, but I don't think that's nearly enough. So what my approach is OMAD, 1 meal a day. And I believe that you have to get those results that I'm talking about, you have to do that for at least 4 days a week. So at least 4 days a week of 1 meal a day. So that means you have 24 hours between every meal that you have. That will completely change the way you see yourself, right? Let me tell you a story that's going to illustrate what I mean by that. All my life, I was overweight. And one of my big problems is that I had those fucking nasty sweet cravings after I had a meal. I would have dinner, chilling at home, and man, I really need something sweet. And it wasn't just like, oh, I could like something sweet right now. It was like, I need something sweet. So more often than not, what would happen is that I would either walk to the convenience store, buy ice cream. I would walk to the grocery store, buy some ice cream. I would sometimes Uber Eats ice cream or some sweet or some shit like that. Pay fucking $15 Canadian dollars for a McFlurry for the guy to drive it to me, or some minority to drive it to me during a snowstorm. So that's the problem, right? I would have those big sweet cravings, and that would add up a lot of calories throughout the week. Search up how many calories in an Oreo McFlurry from McDonald's. Now, what happened when I start to do the fasting, when I start to fast consistently, is that basically what you're doing when you're fasting is that you are denying yourself of your wanting to eat. Like you want to eat, but you say no because you're fasting. That's just very simple. And that doesn't make it, over time, what people tell you is that over time the fasting gets easier, you stop getting hungry. I find that to be bullshit. What actually happens is that over time you get stronger. Over time you learn that you don't have to listen. You don't actually have to listen when you're craving something sweet, when you are craving to eat, when you're hungry. You don't actually need to listen to that. And you are actually stronger than that. And you can just be hungry, right? You don't have to listen to that. You don't have to act upon the craving. And that really fixed my problem, right? Eventually, the sweet cravings kind of disappear. They trickle down and disappear as I got more used to the fasting. But nowadays, I'll have them once in a blue moon. I'll really have a sweet craving after a meal. But that's not something that happens all the time anymore because I changed the way that I see myself. I changed my identity. And I think a big problem when it comes to this whole, like if you search up switching your identity or shifting your identity or rewiring your identity, you're going to fall a lot into contents about visualization, meditation, spirituality, or whatever the fuck those people think spirituality actually is. You're going to fall into a lot of content about people talking about how to do that shift. And there's a big mistake people make when talking about those things, is that the thinking and the visualizing, they don't create any change, right? They don't. You can't really visualize and imagine something properly because you don't actually know how it feels. Like if you knew how he felt and how it was to lose weight, you would have lost the weight already. If you knew how he felt to make money and get rich and build a business, you would have already built that already. You would have already felt like that. You don't need to visualize something that you know how to do. So you don't know what this different identity that you want feels like. So we have to return to the classic model, to what Aristotle, all the Greek philosophers would say. That you have to first act even though you don't feel like it, even though you don't understand why you're doing it, even though your will doesn't tell you to do that, even though you don't want to do that. You have to act and do the correct thing. And by doing the correct thing, then your identity shifts. Then the movement creates change in the way that you see yourself. That's the classic hero's journey. Like, you don't become the hero by visualizing yourself becoming a hero. The hero has to go to the hero's journey. He has to go into the depths. He has to get inside the cave, go to hell, go inside the water, go slay the monster. And after going through that, after starting that movement, then the change happens and he starts seeing himself as someone different than he was before. So I urge you to give this a try. 4 weeks. Only 4 weeks, man. If it doesn't work, like, you can stop. But if you do that for 4 weeks, it's impossible for you not to start changing the way that you see yourself. All right? So that's for today's video. God bless, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.